So I am giving my speech in support of humans cause global warming. I'd just like to start off with the idea of global warming and that it is human caused. This is a very heavily debated topic, whether humans are the reason for this or if they are not. The overall idea is that there's a temperature increase, so the temperature fluctuation and the average temperatures go up, and they say this is due to the greenhouse effect. Now, the greenhouse effect is something that happens with the Earth, where it's a trapping around the Earth that keeps the heat from the sun inside, so it keeps it inside this layer that covers the Earth. With this, it also retains the gases that come in, which is CO2, water vapor, methane, a bunch of different gases that we use every day, natural gases as well. So this layer that goes around the Earth traps them in. So in the long run, what happens is when it keeps them in and they are in the atmosphere for that long, it heats it up, which causes the idea of greenhouse effect. Greenhouse gases, they're produced two different ways for the most part. Naturally, just by everyday living, breathing, trees, everything, just natural ways. As well as you could burn, like by burning things, there's obviously a lot of coal being burned, oil gets burned, natural gas gets burned, and then the most obvious is wood. These are all ways that are going to happen regardless, but they all affect the layering that comes around. And the temperature increases. It gets debated on how much, how long, but since 1880, there has been a 1.4 degree Fahrenheit increase, which might not seem like a lot, but in the long run, it's a substantial amount. Another physical effect that we can see is the Arctic ice melting. The ice is melting back. The sea level is rising up. They suspect that possibly in 2040 that we will have an iceless summer up in the Arctic. Coral reefs are also dying with the temperature change, like at places down like Australia. These are dying because they are so temperature sensitive, and with the increase in the temperature, the water is also being affected. And the human causes is, like, we have an increase in the population. That's obvious. That's just gonna play its own part. It's gonna take its own role. That's gonna happen no matter what. But there's also been a big increase in consumption, which goes hand in hand with the increased population. But at the same time, the increase in consumption is not only the fact that we have a bigger population, but also the basic idea that we are using more. We're doing more things. There's more things available, ready and available for us. So that increases our consumption, which increases carbon levels and things like that. Cars are obviously more popular than ever, and cars actually produce 333 million tons of CO2 a year, which is, in the big scheme of things, it's not necessarily a lot, but when you think about one single source, that's when you realize that that's a big contributor to all this in the air. The temperature fluctuations, they are normal, but they're not normal to this degree, to this substantiality. And in the past 50 years, has been the quickest increase that has ever been measured. Now, this stuff, obviously, 50 years is it hasn't been measured a whole long time, but for the past 50 years, that it has been the quickest. And the 10 hottest recorded years have been since 1990, so that tells you something as well. Other negative effects that global warming has is it causes deforestation, which increases wildfires. It's more deadly. It causes floods. It can cause droughts because of dust storms and whatnot. And it also, with the hurricanes, it makes them stronger because the warmer water has an effect which increases it, makes them, it can turn them from a tropical storm to a hurricane. Things we can do: vehicles, we can ride bikes, we can take buses, um, but also there's a lot of opportunities for wind energy out there. There's also solar power, which is being used more and more frequently. And finally is geothermal, which is heat energy, which you can get from like inside the earth. So you can take all this energy stuff and you can expand on that, which is all easily and readily available whenever we need it. So, like I said, it's the effect that we have and the effect that we're making from increase in population to increase in consumption and all that, and seeing the increase in temperature, an average temperature, it's clear that this is due to our own actions. So I am in support that people do cause global warming.